So recently, we've been seeing a lot of discussions around Xbox, what they're doing as far as requiring 30% margins and them kind of like giving the cold shoulder to consoles, and so many things happening with the top brass at Xbox and Microsoft in regards to hardware gaming as it surrounds consoles, that it makes people feel like the Xbox platform / ecosystem is quote unquote dead. When you hear the term Xbox is dead, that's what people are talking about. They're not talking about the overall Windows gaming business or Microsoft gaming or Xbox to name only gaming business. They're not talking about that. They're talking about Xbox as a platform as it relates to its legacy business, which was a box, Direct Xbox. That's where the name comes from. A Direct Xbox that tries to combine the best of computer gaming or PC gaming, as far as the title type and power and performance with the convenience of a console, right? Now, if you listen to some of the conversations that are being had now from Satya Nadella and Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer, they're trying to assure you they are not abandoning hardware, but they're not saying console so much. They are talking, the only time you hear them talking about console is them talking about giving you the best of both worlds, the console and the PC side, just like how I said they originated from, which is true. But this time around, it seems like they're leaning a lot less from the plug and play convenience of a console and leaning more on mimicking what a PC is. How is that going to affect console gamers, despite all of the ire and the complaining and bickering about this, right? And trust me, I'm not saying that to be facetious. I am one of the ones, if you haven't been following my content, I'm one of the ones that have been bickering with you. But does that mean that Xbox is doomed? For sure, like 100% doomed. I don't think so. Another surprising thing is, if you have been listening to my content, I have been down on Xbox, but it doesn't mean that there's not a possibility for them to be quote unquote successful, not just in their pocketbooks, but with the perception with gamers. Let's talk about it. What's up, people? It's your boy MM2K of Hard Knock Digital Culture, Cloud Dosage, and here at MM2K Gaming, back again with another video. Before we get into this one, do us a huge favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and rock those bells for notifications, please, so you know when we're dropping these doses. And this video is part of a larger discussion that we're having with members about all this. So if you want more details about this and a more in-depth discussion, make sure you hit that join button, become a member, get access to that content. All right. Now, that being said, I don't think, even though this is going to be a tough sale, it's not an impossible sale. And here's why I'll put it like this. Here is the bridge, if successfully traveled, here's the bridge that Microsoft can travel down and successfully traverse the Xbox platform into an area that not only is putting more money in their pockets consistently, but is acclaimed by gamers, unless you're a serious hater of Xbox. All right. So what is that way? First and foremost, in order for you to be a successful ecosystem, you can't just be the best of niche. Right now, PC gaming, when it comes to the direction that Xbox is moving into, is niche. I'm not saying PC gaming overall is niche. Absolutely not. PC gaming generates at least, and we're talking about through Steam storefronts like Steam, and GOG or whatever, at least $10 billion in revenue annually, at least. But when we talk about this high-powered gaming, either through the technology that has been leaked and somewhat confirmed by the Xbox brass, along with these handhelds, the combination of that is niche, because even when it comes to the hardware, only the top 1% has these 5080s or even the 40 series cards. Most of the people are dealing with 30 series. Hell, even the 1660 series of NVIDIA graphics cards. They don't have the hardware, right? So because they don't have the hardware, when you tally the numbers, look at the Steam reports and stuff like that, the Steam census, you can tell that it is niche as far as who has this hardware to play these games, like the top 1 to 5%. Okay. So, and when you, and it's even flatter when you add in who has the hardware along with who plays on these handhelds. Okay. It's very niche. Doesn't mean that there's not money there, but it's niche. So to be successful after making such a transition where Xbox was a staple in commercial console gaming and going to something significantly more niche, you can't be best in a niche. Here's what you have to do. Okay. You have to break this out of nichehood. You're not, in the beginning years, you're not going to be able to rival PlayStation, because we're talking about PlayStation and Nintendo. They're hitting like 100 when they get revving and they hit 100 million consoles sold per generation. That's it. Game over. They've owned those lanes. If you want to get some of that market share as far as potential console gamers that will trickle over to your side, and you want to tap in particularly into that 100 million plus console gamers, probably like siphon off another 20-30 million so they come over to your side. Here's what you have to do. You have to do these things, and if you do these things, it is possible, Xbox. Number one, let's first address this Xbox PC hybrid, whatever you want to call it, which is in essence a PC that is just going to have some UI associated that tries to make it easier for you to use your games and try to give you some plug and play functionality, but B, more importantly, which is cool, has backwards compatibility components for those that want to carry their lineup with them. All right. You got to first and foremost have something that is what I call an Xbox mode, okay? Xbox mode should resemble something like big picture mode on Steam. This mode will optimize the game settings and put the game settings in like a simplified mode that allows you to change the settings in game more in fashion with a console. Now, if you don't need that particular simplified mode within the quote unquote Xbox mode or big picture mode, whatever you call it, then you can change it to advanced mode. But that should be within the Xbox UI settings. You have to have that. If you don't have a simplified mode where people can go in and just do the normal quality / performance upticks that changes all the sliders for them, opposed to them having to tinker with this stuff and just look like a deer in headlights type thing going on once they see this. If you don't want them to be dismayed by seeing that, you got to have that. Do it for them, and if they want to tweak even more, let them switch in the UI to advanced mode and let that switch the settings open. You got to put up these let's say retractable guardrails. Okay, you can put up these kind of like what do they call those bumpers that when you go bowling? All right, you can put them up and put them down when necessary. Put up these retractable guardrails for those console gamers that you can siphon off from that 100 million, okay? First and foremost. Secondly, in this UI or in this settings, there needs to be specialized system settings. Now, what I talked about before was game settings, the big picture mode type thing in the simplified mode. Another thing that you need for this quote unquote, the PC hybrid thing, is you need advanced system settings that simplifies overclocking and, more importantly, keeps Windows updates unintrusive unless extremely urgent. Let's deal with the overclocking thing. You have PCs here. You're going to want people are going to, if they're spending like the rumored $1,200 to $1,500 for this thing, they're going to want to be able to switch out of that simplified mode. You're going to have a lot of people that are going to want to switch out of that simplified mode and go to the advanced mode. And overclocking this thing will be important. There's going to be set hardware that allows you to do this. If there's going to be set hardware that allows you to do this, right, that Xbox is selling, if there's set hardware that comes out of the box, then you definitely should be able to have things that allow you to use this overclock mode, as long as it's if it's the Xbox approved AMD parts. Like, say for instance, if I'm like, oh, you know what, my Xbox PC hybrid came with this version of the AMD processor or the AMD APU. I want to upgrade it to a more expensive one that came out a year later. That approved AMD APU, Xbox approved AMD APU, because of supposedly they're working together, right, with a special chipset that allows backwards compatibility or whatever, or software, whatever it is. It should be approved. It should be Xbox approved, and one of the approval litmuses should be the ability to overclock. This Xbox system setting should allow you to cleanly overclock this stuff. I have it right now as part of my PC bundle package, like for what is it? Oh, my I think it's did it come with my PC or did it come with my stream? No, my recording server. I can't remember where it came, but I got this software that does the overclocking for me. I don't have to go into BIOS and do all that stuff. It does the overclocking for me. So yeah, I think that's a must. Again, to siphon off that 20 to 30 million potential, you got to have that simplified mode, and you got to, have that ease of use mode. But again, for your more advanced users, these are going to be your staple people for this hardware. There's got to be overclocking. It should be simplified. And anytime I'm swapping out APU or CPU or GPU with this thing, whatever it's going to come with, yeah, there should be custom made, prominent software that allows me to do that. But last, but certainly not least, and it goes beyond this PC hybrid, is this thing is going to need in its ecosystem. When I say this thing, I mean Xbox gaming is going to need in its ecosystem enhanced cloud gaming to be as performant as GFN Ultimate. Why is that important? Because everybody's not going to pay the $1,200 to $1,500 for this PC hybrid. And the 20 to 30 million people that you get that, that potentially can get this device, you could lose that same amount in your traditional console gamers, because they're like, I don't want to spend that money on this thing. That's why I'm on the console in the first place, right? I'd have been built me I would have been buy me a pre-built if I had that type of money to shell out for hardware all at once. That's where the cloud can pick up the slack. If you guys have a cloud service, and look, man, you gotta drop that chicken dinner and get with a winner. The whole xCloud setup is trash. Using the consoles, and I believe that's probably another reason why they're dumping the console, because they want to go with a whole new infrastructure with cloud. I don't know if Satya and company and Amy is willing to invest in that. You got to remember, Satya, or Amy Hood in particular, talked about overloading and investing too much in cloud, like creating a golden toilet. So I know they like referencing the cloud, but I don't know if they're sold right now that cloud is going to be integral and the gaming part of it, right? They may just be satisfied because they spent so much money on acquisitions. They may just be satisfied for the foreseeable future and just making money selling their games on PlayStation and elsewhere, right? But particularly PlayStation. So maybe they're not willing to make that investment in the cloud. But I will say this: if they are, then you got to go all in. And to capture those people, so this is not a net loss, it's a net gain. In culmination with you doing those things, again, for your console people that are willing to pay that price, for your hardcore PC people that would, hey, I want something Xbox brand, I can get a pre-built, I can put something together on my own, but because this is that Xbox branded and it has that special Xbox software, hell, let me get it. Now that you got those two covered as far as the hardware is concerned, to catch the rest, you need to have better performant cloud gaming. And I'm sorry, my cloud gamers, love you. I know you guys love this thing. This is not going to do it. It's not going to do it. It's not good enough for the mainstream. They got to ditch this chicken dinner, get them a winner. It needs to be as performant as NVIDIA GeForce Now and NVIDIA GeForce Now Ultimate. Period. If they do that, not only do they set themselves up for potentially siphoning off, a swath of console gamers that do have that disposable income, is like, oh, this thing might be cool. Let me try this, and oh my goodness, PC gaming is better. And those are the type of people that don't need to play the PlayStation exclusives day and date. They are willing to wait. They're more of a multi-platform gaming. Like, if you're more of a multi-plat gamer more than anything, right? And you're not you don't really lay your hat with any brand because you don't really have that much of an attachment with the brand. You just happen to get the PlayStation because it's cheaper, it's more accessible, this is what you're familiar with or whatever. And you could really go either way. And you got that disposable income. I mean, maybe 20 to 30 million potential is a little bit too lofty. Maybe it's another 10 to 15 million, but whatever it is, hey, potentiality is potentiality. So if you can change your potential user base from the 30 million consoles that you sold this generation to 45, 50 million, I mean, that's not the greatest, but you look at the fact that you're doing more higher margin business, that 45 to 50 million might be enough to really turn some heads in regards to Xbox gaming. All right. So I feel you got to do it. Now, here's the reality of it. Will Xbox do it? Or I don't think the question is will they do it? The question is, can they do it? I got to be honest with you. It's not impossible, but I don't have faith in the Xbox brass. Number one, I don't have faith in their tech group. Jason Ronald is in charge of this. My God. The same guy that was behind the Series X, Series S disaster. Problem number one. Again, I hear so many good things about Jason Ronald as a person. He's a cool guy, nice guy. I've heard so many stories about people that was close to the guy. This is nothing personal. This is business. And in business, it's all about competency. Look, at work, I'm training this guy, the nicest guy in the world. We talk about, hey, man, trying to get some chicken parmesan and all this other, nicest guy in the world, right? It's not performing up to standard. I can't go to my superiors and be like, look, God knows where some great chicken parmesan's at. I can't do that. He gotta stay. No, it's nothing it's business. I don't trust the business of Jason Ronald. Secondly, say Jason Ronald proves me wrong and he's doing it. He's able to do it. And they do the first two things where they really address this hybrid. I'm telling you, that very important safety net to where it's not a net loss, where you're gaining some of these hardcore spenders, but you're losing your base. You gotta get that cloud together. And that's out of Jason Ronald's hand. That is more in the Amy Hood, Satya Nadella. Are we going to invest in this? Because if they're abandoning the series consoles, they can move on to a new cloud setup. Question is, will they? So I don't know. I mean, again, it's possible, but the likelihood of it, and again, it is possible. I am putting the likelihood right now around 10%. 10%, it's a 10% chance they can pull this off. I'm sorry. Again, it's not zero. There's a 1 in front of the 0. It's not just 0, but it's not high at all. So what I urge you, if you're not one of these sicko fans and these field cultivists that we talked about last week, that, you're hating on Xbox, sour grapes to you. If you're not one of those sicko fans and you clearly is like, look, there's some red flags here and I got to see the direction of this thing. That's the things that you want to watch. How are they going to create a ease of use feel with this thing for the atypical console gamer that does have the disposable income for this? B, how are they going to do that in conjunction with satisfying the hardcore brass? C, what is their safety net, or how are they going to apply their safety net, which is clearly going to be cloud gaming? How are they going to apply their safety net and enhance that to ensure it's not a net loss? We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But with that said, that's it from your boy. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Because like I always say, curious what I think. But if you did like what I had to say, check out the links below to follow me. It will lead you again to Hard Knock Digital Culture, Cloud Dosage, MM2K Gaming. With that said, peace. Have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. And again, if you want more detailed conversation about this, hit the join button and become a member. Peace.